It is April 25th, 2016. I'm Mike Callahan, and this is the Watchman News. Our show is brought to you by heavensnectarvapes.com. So if you're a vapor or know a vapor, send them our way. So I talked about this particular subject several times here in the recent. I've talked about the significance and understanding that when our countries go back and forth with one another on the different weapons that they have and different technology and all that, that we are way behind. And I don't even understand why they carry this rhetoric on back and forth. Because the weapons that all of the countries, all the major superpowers have are much further advanced than what they give us any knowledge of. And I understand that. That's the kind of the whole point. But this supports what I've been saying about how the typical ballistic missile is just so outdated, it's unreal. And I've spoke about these particular weapons exclusively. So this is an article from the Washington Free Beacon, and it's titled, Russia Tests Hypersonic Glide Vehicle on Missile. Russia conducted a flight test of a revolutionary hypersonic glide vehicle last week that will deliver nuclear or conventional warheads through advanced missile defenses, U.S. defense officials said. The test firing of hypersonic glider took place Tuesday and involved the launch of an SS-19 intercontinental ballistic missile from eastern Russia, said officials familiar with the details of the test. Russia's state-run Interfax news agency confirmed the test on Thursday. Pentagon spokeswoman Lieutenant Colonel Michelle Baldanza, said, While we have seen the reports in the media, the Department of Defense has nothing to offer on this. Tuesday's test was only the second known test for a hypersonic glider. An earlier test took place last year. China and the United States also are developing hypersonic missiles, both gliders and jet-powered vehicles that travel at extreme speeds. Seems like I heard maybe Mach 7 or Mach 8 somewhere, but I'm not positive on that. China has conducted 6 tests of its DF-ZF hypersonic glider. The U.S. Army hypersonic missile blew up shortly after launch in August of 2014. The Pentagon also is developing a scramjet-powered hypersonic weapon. Hypersonic missiles are being developed to defeat increasingly sophisticated missile defenses. The weapons are designed for use in rapid, long-range strikes. Interfax, quoting a source familiar with the Russian test, confirmed it would involve a prototype hypersonic aircraft that will be deployed on current and future long-range missiles. The test was carried out in the Orenburg region of Russia, located near the border with Kazakhstan. The hypersonic glider was launched atop an SS-19 missile, and the test was said to be successful, the news agency said. Earlier, Russia's Moskovsky Komsomolets, something like that, reported that the new hypersonic glider was tested from a missile launched at Dobrovolsky missile base in Orenburg. I don't speak Russian, where SS-18 missiles are deployed. A defense official told the Washington Free Beacon preliminary indications were that the test was successful. No details were provided on how fast the vehicle went or the distance it traveled. Hypersonic speed is between Mach 5 and Mach 10, or 3,836 miles per hour to 7,673 miles per hour. Hypersonic weapons pose technological challenges for weapons developers because the speeds create high heat and pressure that make flight and precision targeting difficult. Russia has made developing hypersonic weapons a high priority. General Valery Gerasimov, chief of the Russian General Staff, stated in May 2013 that Moscow opposed further nuclear arms talks because of the U.S. development of precision-guided hypersonic weapons that could be used in place of some nuclear weapons. Gerasimov was referred to as the X-37B space plane and other systems in development that could be used in what the Pentagon calls conventional prompt global strike weapons capable of hitting any target on Earth within 30 minutes. Russian Deputy Prime Minister Dmitry Rogozin said that whoever is first to achieve mastery of hypersonic weapons would overturn the principles of how wars are waged. He also compared hypersonic weapons development as on par with development of nuclear arms. U.S. intelligence officials have disclosed to Congress in testimony that China's DF-ZF hypersonic gliders appear designed to deliver nuclear warheads through missile defenses. However, the high-speed DF-ZF also could be used with conventional warheads as part of what the Pentagon calls anti-access area denial weapons China is developing to threaten U.S. forces near China's coast. That's interesting. I wonder what anti-access area denial weapons would really mean. I wonder if anything with EMP is involved with that. Last week, during a congressional hearing, Missile Defense Agency Director Vice Admiral James Searing was asked whether his agency is working to counter the threats from the Chinese and Russian hypersonic strike weapons. Searing disclosed plans to build laser weapons to counter hypersonic threats. I've asked for $23 million to begin a low-power laser demonstrator this year to demonstrate the feasibility by 2021, the three-star admiral told the House Armed Services Strategic Forces Subcommittee. Now, and that's interesting because if we paid much attention at all in the news, it's been all throughout mainstream news even about I want to say it was done in California, about the laser weapons testing, where they, I forgot what all they shot through with the laser, but they made a really big deal about it and all that, and now all of a sudden, okay, so they confirm they already have the weapon, right? And then now they're saying they need to build them? That's interesting. Continuing on, I'm troubled that Russia and China continue to outpace the U.S. in development of these prompt global strike capabilities, complain about our tepid development programs, and the Obama administration's ideological reductions to the Missile Defense Agency budget have denied that agency the resources to do anything to develop defenses. Wow, sometimes it's hard to read. Different authors, I think I can read a little better than others. Mark Schneider, a former Pentagon Strategic Forces policymaker, said if the reports of the test are confirmed, it is a major threat development. Russia has an extensive program underway on hypersonic vehicles, Schneider said. This year, the Russian state media is reporting that hypersonic cruise missile is being developed for Russian naval vessels, including the fifth-generation Husky missile submarine that is now under development. The new anti-ship missile, known as Tsirkon, will be in operation by 2018. Russian press reporting has indicated that the new PAC-DA stealth bomber under development will also be armed with air-launched hypersonic missiles. U.S. programs involving hypersonic vehicles are modest by comparison, Schneider said. I would be surprised if we actually deploy one. If we do, it will likely be conventional. Russian hypersonic vehicles will likely either be nuclear armed or nuclear capable, since this is the norm for Russia. Jane's intelligence review disclosed last year that the Russian hypersonic strike vehicle is called the Yu-71. The report said the Russians could deploy up to 24 hypersonic gliders as nuclear delivery vehicles at Dombrovsky between 2020 and 2025. Geneva-based military analyst Pavel Podvig, who runs the RussianForces.org, or the blog RussianForces.org, said the program for the glider is codenamed Project 4202. Podvig said a test flight of the glider was expected. Whether it was successful, as the reports allege, or not, we don't know, he said. So, like I say, once again, it's like we're throwing rocks at one another. All this news is already way outdated. I mean, probably decades outdated. we were playing with, I want to say it was chemical lasers in the 80s. And I can imagine that by now we are far beyond that. I'm sure that we have figured out how to direct far stronger energy than light, to be honest. So I wouldn't be surprised or shocked to hear about some type of a plasma weapon, to be honest. But from my understanding, as it goes with the hypersonic gliders, that we've already got satellites up in space that are essentially rail guns that can produce that type of speed just almost instantaneous. So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on things. I'll keep my ear to the ground, and we'll see if any